Good. That is the number one and most important thing, is you must value information. Every movie you watch, they spend hours chasing down information and 15 minutes beating up the bad guy that they got the information again. Doesn't matter if it's a dating show, she'll spend hours and weeks getting information on the person she's going to spend 15 minutes with. Outside of information, you also have to pay attention to the data around you. Data is all around us. You walk outside, you look in the sky, you can tell you if it's going to rain or not. If you see it's going to rain, you leave with your umbrella based on the data that you just got. So, if we have information and data, the very next thing you have to do is utilize that information. It makes no sense for you to hear information, see the data that backs up information, and you will not exercise or utilize that information. You just wasted information. Like Sun Tzu says, every battle is won before the war is even fought. The data is already collected. The data has already decided your fate. Now about me. I'm a futurist. I'm a self-taught coder. I grew up here, well, I'm from Sierra Leone, came to the States in '88, grew up in the Washington, D.C., Silver Spring, Maryland area. I was heavy into sales. I worked with Countrywide Home Loans, mortgage market crashed. You couldn't put Countrywide on a resume. I had to do something else. Right. I was watching TV. There was a conversation going on with Zuckerberg. He was 23 at the time. They were talking about this billionaire 23-year-old, and I'm like, all he did was build a website? I can do that. I went to Google, taught myself how to code, and eventually all the ideas that I had in my head, I was able to bring out into real life. Then I made a move to San Francisco, where I was able to show and back up my abilities to actually come up with cool concepts. Be it for Emirates Airlines, Mrs. Clinton, I built an app for her campaign. If she'd used it, she would have won, but she didn't. In early 2009, I got into Bitcoin when I got to San Francisco. Bitcoin came out in 2008, I got into it in 2009. In 2014, I was the very first person to copy the code of Bitcoin and make my own currency for gaming. This is the power of the technology that we're going to get into a little bit. From the lessons I learned in creating a cryptocurrency for gaming, I'm now applying this information to creating a cryptocurrency for the world of automation. Robots are going to take your jobs. There's nothing you can do about that, right? But robots are also going to make you money. In the future, it doesn't matter if it's your microwave, your cell phone, your fridge, every single electronic device in your home will earn you some kind of income. You just need to know how. So, I am a validated source for the information that you're about to get. You're not getting this from somebody who's, just spends all this time watching YouTube and picking up the best parts. So, as entrepreneurs, one of the biggest problems that you're going to come across is actually funding your project. Yeah. Some of us come from cultures that don't yet understand that you must invest in entrepreneurs. Yeah. They'll blame government, they'll blame corruption, they'll blame the sun, they'll blame everything else except their lack of investments in entrepreneurs right under their roof. Entrepreneurs solve problems, not governments. So, by the numbers, what are ICOs? So far, $1.3 billion has been raised via ICOs. This is without chasing down investors, without giving away any equity in your company, by simply utilizing the blockchain and Bitcoin technology. In China alone, this gentleman here raised $82 million in less than an hour. In the United States, so far, just in 2017, we just started September, and already $1.3 billion has been raised in the US using ICOs. But many of you entrepreneurs in here don't know of this option. Yep. So, let's get into the crux of the conversation. ICOs are simply digital tokens that are non-forgeable, non-duplicatable, that you pre-sell to potential users of your product. These tokens are stored on the blockchain and they're easily transferred to other folks. So now we get into the conversation of exactly what is blockchain and what is Bitcoin. How many of you here have Bitcoin? How many know what Bitcoin is? You've heard the good and the bad, I'm sure. Okay. Bitcoin is nothing more than an incentive for participating in a computer network. You let your computer use some electricity in your house to participate in solving Bitcoin transactions, and you get rewarded for it. This is how your computer will make you money in the future. This is how your microwave will make you money in the future, because your microwave will have some kind of mining device attached to it. Your cell phone, every electronic device in your home. So the blockchain is nothing more than an open source database that anybody can write into, but no one can go back and edit. Think of it as an Excel spreadsheet. On this spreadsheet, I would be cell D4, you would be cell E5. You can tell the spreadsheet move 2 units from D4 to E5. Now, what makes this really, really cool is that these spreadsheets are stored in everybody's computer that's participating in the network. It's in my computer, your computer, and so on. Let's say someone tries to fool the network and send a fake transaction, and your computer picks up that in its log. Your computer is going to compare it against everybody else's, and it's going to realize, wait a minute, mine is the only one that's wrong. So it's going to ditch its log and join everybody else's. It's completely decentralized. No government can shut it down. No military can no military can throw atom bombs on this thing. It'll still keep going. So the power of this technology eliminates banks. It is the core problem of the African continent, that banks do not really work in your favor. You have loans you'll never be able to pay off. If you send money to somebody in Sierra Leone using Western Union, you're going to pay X amount to Western Union on this side, and then they're going to pay again and cash into their currency on the other side. With Bitcoin, it's nothing more than like just sending an email address. As long as they have a Bitcoin wallet on their phone, you send it to them, no Western Union, 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, they have it. So, with the Bitcoin technology out and about, there was a genius 17-year-old kid in the Ukraine that said, you know what, we can improve this. We could actually make it so that you can write code on top of transactions. So we can program money where I can say, I'm going to loan you $5. I want that $5 to come back to me in 30 days at 5% interest that's taken from this account. Regardless if I'm dead or alive, that contract is going to execute. You will get your money. The trust problem in doing business with each other has been solved. This ushers in the world of smart contracts. So it doesn't matter if it's health, it doesn't matter if it's piracy. Everything stored on the blockchain is provable that you have ownership of this particular product. So with this new way that you can write contracts on top of money, ICOs are tokens that you write on top of what's called the Ethereum blockchain. Anyone can copy the code of Bitcoin and make their own version of the currency. Bitcoin has only 21 million coins that can be released. You can come out and say, you know what? Women run the world. We should have our own money. We're going to create woman coin. And it will work as long as women are using it. And you can have it set to whatever math formula you want it to have. You can say my coin is going to have 100 million released in the circulation. And regardless what happens to you, that code will continue to run as long as people are participating in your network. This means Sierra Leone, that will never have a capable banking system in the next gazillion years, with a few lines of code, I can replace their banking system in a weekend. Your kids, your 13-year-olds in your home can code. They can transform every single country in that continent with just a few lines of code. So using ICOs, you can say, I'm going to release 1 million tokens that are going to be used to fund my company. These tokens, I'm going to sell them to you at 5 cents each, 10 cents each, whatever the price. You buy the tokens. Once the product is ready, these tokens will have to go on an exchange. No different than stocks go on the NASDAQ, these tokens go on an exchange. The value for these tokens, based on speculators, based on folks really, really loving the product that you build, could go as high as $1, $10, whatever the market demands. So those tokens that the folks who bought at 10 cents to fund your company can later be sold at a profit. Everybody wins. It's not a donation, it's buying a digital piece. It's not necessarily, you don't have ownership in my company, but it's buying a digital piece that you can sell at a profit later to you. You're going to be able to fund hundreds and hundreds of enterprises throughout the continent with this new way to fund companies at an affordable pace. You don't have to go chase an investor for $200,000 anyway. I've done that in San Francisco. It doesn't work. It works for some people, right? But you can collect $5, $10 from a variety of people who, in turn, are going to make that money right back once they sell your digital tokens. This is the new world that we're in, and it's very, very important that we start participating. In 2008, Bitcoin was under a penny. Right now, Bitcoin is $5,000. It's predicted that it's going to be at least $15,000 within the next 3 months. And Africans are not participating. Unfortunately.
Not yet.
So I hope that you value the information that I just shared with you. I hope that you go out, take a look at the data yourself. I didn't make the data up. You can't fool math. Right? If the math is right, there's nothing you can say about that. And I hope that you apply the information based on the data that you receive. Thank you.
Thank you, Anar. I, for one, am one person that can definitely benefit from having someone tell me about Bitcoin every day. Because I hear about